This is All About Home Construction, and here's your hosts, Terry Cannell Beck and Randy Blake.
That's right. I'm getting a little excited, I guess, this morning. What's up, Randy?
Okay.
Happy Saturday to you, man.
Happy Saturday to you and everybody out there.
That's right. A little All About Home Construction here on WATA, and thanks to everyone out there for listening. Happy enjoy your February Saturday. It's going to be a lot of rain, so it's all right. It's all right.
Well, you know, we have rain, not snow. It's hard on the ski slopes, though.
Yeah, you got to feel sorry for all the ski slopes and just the tourism, sort of that industry here in the high country. You got to feel bad for them because it's been weird. I mean, they've had a couple good weekends, but it's been warm and then it's been wet and then it's been super, super cold, which I'm sure is great for making snow, but not so much for getting people out to the slopes.
Correct. And but they're still making snow at night. Well, they got snow on the ground, so it's staying colder. So
yeah, that's it. So, well, anyway, thanks for listening to us all about home construction here on WATA. Give us a call, 828-262-1567. If you're listening to the podcast, though, shoot us an email or put a comment down in the section. So we appreciate both of those.
Yes, we do.
And we've got more YouTube video or views this last week, so we appreciate all those people there, too. So all of our listeners on WATA, if you want to go check out the podcast, maybe you want to share it with a friend or go back and hear something cool we said.
Did they see me talking Chinese? Where my mouth didn't match my mouth?
I know. I'm not. The one video we tried putting up, I'm not sure why it didn't match up, but it's all right. Well, no one wants to watch you anyway. We're listening to you.
I know. I'm just an old contractor.
Well, speaking of being an old contractor, how's the week been for you?
We're still working.
That's good.
We our first time installing synthetic decking. So it was a learning curve on us. I mean, we did my daughter's synthetic decking. We did what she wanted,
right?
But this time we did it with the border and everything around it.
Nice.
So there's no exposed ends and stuff. So it looks a little more professional. But one thing we're learning is you need this tape on these floor joists.
So you've been a big fan of this tape recently.
Well, we started out, I guess 3 years ago when we did a product from Canada. Mm-hmm. And it was a aluminum tray with Italian tile glued to the aluminum tray. Well, to keep the aluminum tray from oxidizing, we had to tape the floor joists, okay?
Right.
Now, these floor joists were old floor joists with the old treatment, with the arsenic and stuff in it.
Sure.
And the floor joists were still solid. And I know you've heard me harp on treated lumber. Worry about where you buy it and type of treatment.
Right.
And so that house has been built since 2002. And so 3 years ago, we was working on 2021, we was working on the deck, and the floor joists are still in good shape. Okay?
That's cool. Well,
and so the deck we're doing now, we're doing the synthetic, and it's recommended putting this tape down. And which it's not bad, but it's a hassle because you got to bend over, staple it on it, pull it, stretch it, roll it, make sure it's glued.
So
then that's an added cost.
Yeah, I was going to say it takes more time.
But that is so it keeps the water off the top of the floor joists so they don't rot from the top down. Mm. And I didn't put them on my computer to put them on Facebook, but these joists have been on since 2012, and this is the first time we've run into rotten floor joists.
Wow.
And some of them had rotted down about an inch from the top.
That's not good. I mean, that's not only hurting the structure of the joists themselves, but it's making the boards loose on top. I mean, there's multiple problems with this.
And that was the deck that I found 3 tags, and I contacted the company and wanted to know what the homeowner's warranty was on this treated lumber. Because we're all over the assumption that treated lumber's 40 years.
Yeah.
It's not. Okay? And so I talked to the representative, and they sent me a thing, which we talked about on the radio, I think, 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
And so if you don't have these tags for this lumber, you have to have a tag for every piece of lumber that you use on this deck. So if that one part fails,
you have proof.
They'll replace it. So
who keeps the tags off of every piece?
Well, we have been giving the homeowners the tags for about the last 14 years.
Okay.
Every tag that we use is treated.
You pull off.
And put it in the envelope and put it in our invoice. But if that company gets bought out or gets sold, then that warranty's no good.
Right.
And, we talked about it. Me and Terry talked about it. We're going to do a show on treated lumber and the difference, but I got to looking up, and they took the arsenic out because they was afraid the children was going to get arsenic poison.
Right.
Okay? And I could not find anywhere in the history of the United States of a child dying from arsenic poison from treated lumber.
Right.
It was speculated that 1 out of a million would die. All right? Well, everything's on the 2% scale in the medical field.
Mm-hmm.
They know that 2% are going to die from taking medicines.
Right.
Okay? Well, that's less than 2% on treated lumber, 1 out of a million.
Right.
But it's going to cost homeowners mega bucks to replace their decking every 8 to 10 years.
Sure.
And if they don't tape their joists now, they'll be replacing their whole deck. And, as a rule of thumb, 12 years ago, a deck was $25 to $35 a square foot. Now it's getting up $55, $75, $80. But the warranties are so much better now on the synthetic than the treated lumber, because you can buy it 30, 40, 50 years.
Right.
And you can get it in multiple colors. And but what we're doing down there is we're doing a hybrid. Mm-hmm. So we're using the synthetic decking down, but we're replacing all the posts, and we're using hog wire in between it now instead of pickets.
I like that. I like that look.
And this is an anodized black.
Yeah.
We did that one job where we used the galvanized, heavy galvanized.
I like the look of that. I don't know why. It's pretty cool.
Well, you can see through your railing.
Right.
And but what we're doing on this one is because we're using hog wire, instead of putting a 2x6 on top of the post, we're dropping the 2x6s down against the post, and we're Craig jigging them in so they're blind screwed.
Yeah. And
then we're using the border piece to set on top to try to protect all the treated lumber underneath.
So you're trying to cover up as much as you can of the lumber.
Correct. Yeah. To keep it from, but we're using a number 1 product versus a number 2 that is underground material instead of above ground. Right. So when you go buy lumber, ask them if it's above ground treatment or below ground treatment.
Now, can any like I know that especially if you're working around water, like a lake or close to the beach, I know that there's different rated for like underwater. Can the average homeowner though, do we have that many options available to us in terms of the water? Some that we know is going to go underwater, underground, or just the cheapest stuff on the market?
Well, no, you don't really. And you really don't know what you're buying.
Right. Because they all look green to me. I mean, when you're looking at them in the store, I don't see the difference.
To give you an example, how many of y'all out there has bought landscape timbers from Lowe's? Mm-hmm. Okay? And they're about 5 inches long, 2.5 inches wide, square on both top, round on each end.
Yep.
All right? Well, those aren't really landscape timbers. What they are is timber that they put in between the treatment process for the drying rack, and they only get the treatment on them because of that drips off the lumber.
Right. So they're only partially treated.
Yeah. So we've seen those start rotting in 4 to 5 years.
Yep.
And so even though you get a carcinogen, it's cheaper in the long run to go with log ties.
Gotcha.
Creosote.
Which is not the old railroad ties.
Yes, it is.
Okay, that's okay. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come right back right after this. Obviously, by listening to this podcast, you see the value of All About Home Construction. Well, by joining our listener supporter community, you're not just tuning in, you're standing with us as we are able to support and fuel our passions of the construction industry. As a listener supporter, you'll enjoy exclusive perks, including hearing your name, or maybe even your business name, on our show. So please go to our Spotify website. The link will be in the show notes, and join. You can join for as little as $1 one-time fee, $1 a month, $5 a month, whatever you think you can afford. Every single penny helps to keep this show going as we can continue to grow and do lots more things. Thanks a lot. And again, more importantly, thank you for listening to this. That's right. All about home construction here on WATA. And again, thanks to all of our listeners out there. Talking, let's get into it, man. Let's jump into our the main topic, and because I really like this. Now, full disclosure, I am addicted to this. What we're getting ready to talk about. I'm just saying. Like, to me, it's been a fun little challenge, a little thing to learn about, and that is, and we're going to scare some people here. You ready? We're talking about AI this morning.
Yeah.
Artificial intelligence. And before we go on, I'm going to say to all the Alexa programs out there that's listening to me, and all the Apple stuff and Siri and all the other things, I love you. You're awesome. Thank you. I'm one of your friends now. But seriously, we're talking a little bit about AI, and it's something that in the last year and a half has really been in the news. And it's taking over, so to speak, in a lot of areas of our lives, in a lot of places we don't even realize. Again, and I'm joking about the smart, speakers and things, but that's AI in itself, right? But AI has been around for a lot longer than we give credit for. You think back, if all these new cars that have come out, and it's like these parking assist, you press a button and it parallel parks for you.
Yep.
That is a form of AI, and really at some level, the manufacturing side of things, some of these robotic things are AI. We've had vacuum cleaners in our house for how long now that you press a button and the little robot vacuum runs around and vacuums.
Yep, Bluetooth.
Yeah.
One of the earliest AIs people don't think about was, remember the screen on your computer that had fish on it?
Yep.
And eventually the fish learned how to swim their own directions instead of one way. And that was out about 15 years ago.
Exactly, yep.
And, but yeah, it's coming. And
well, it's just like anything. You got to, you got to figure out, like, you either embrace it or you don't, right? I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Correct. And it's coming pretty fast.
Yeah.
And it's going to be coming into your home. It's like Terry said, it's already in your home.
Right.
Like the Samsung TV we have. You can talk to that Samsung TV and tell it what station you want, and it automatically go to it.
Right.
How many of y'all out there has Alexas in your house? And if you think they can't hear you, don't believe it.
Right.
Because in California, they subpoenaed Amazon over a murder because there was Alexa in the room. Right.
Well, one of the things that we've talked about this years ago was smart homes was thermostats.
Yep.
Thermostats.
Nest was the first one
and stuff. Yeah. And there's gym equipment now you can get. Of course, I said the vacuum cleaner, but another big one are these doors and locks and cameras that go with them. Like the Ring and things like that.
Yeah.
It's to me it's challenging. It's fascinating. Like I'm the kid who grew up with like that transition of no internet to internet. So I'm on that like that's ingrained in me. It's like, what's the next cool product? But in all seriousness, despite what your thoughts are on AI, it's not going anywhere. And so I got to thinking though, like what is the role of AI in building and construction, specifically residential construction, right? And it's quite a bit out there. There's quite a few things that we use and have used and don't really realize it. The role that it's played and what it's going to play.
Well, let's take a modern, energy-efficient home set up with AI, okay? And what I mean set up with it, there are programs out there, and there is equipment out there that will monitor your furnace, monitor your windows opening and closing from the sun.
Right.
Turn your air on and off, turn your heat on and off, turn your hot water heater down during the daytime. And what I mean is, when everybody leaves the house, there's no need for the whole house to run
Sure.
at 100%. So let's say it brings it down to 40%.
Right.
All right. But then during the different times of the days, it starts bringing stuff back online and bringing them up to 100%, which we all know the peak time is when everybody gets off work and gets home.
Right. And or then the cold days in the winter when you wake up and, on the weekends about 9 o'clock when everybody's up and about and fixing breakfast and stuff. So.
Yeah. I was telling Terry I was reading an article about buildings like here beside the radio station, student housing.
Right.
Or not necessarily student housing, but multiple housing in big cities. And that the AI was cutting electric bills and heating costs by 15% because of monitoring all the sections of the building.
Right. What's being used. Well, and that concept is not that foreign. I mean, how many times have you walked into a bathroom, at a restaurant or something, and the lights be off, but when you walk in, it triggers it and it turns on.
Correct.
So that is sort of AI is just making that better, I guess is where I'm trying to go with that. And, the main reason I started thinking about this topic over the week was a friend had her phone and so she was talking about doing some remodels and doing her research phase of that remodeling process. And she had downloaded an app, I think she had purchased it or whatever, that you take a picture of your house and then you take a picture, like say you found on the internet, just some cool, you like this house kind of picture. And the AI can basically transform your house to match the style of the other. And so now she has a picture. She has got like 2 or 3 different pictures, so that when she goes to say to Randy and be, now she's got this. What do I need to do to get this? And so she already has it laid out. And that's we see that a lot. Like I think is it Amazon, I believe, where what does this look like in my house? So if I want to buy this chair off the internet, I can scan my phone, take a picture of my living room, and it generates and puts that couch in the picture.
Correct.
In my room. And so AI is being used and we don't even realize it.
It's just coming to us at such a slow pace now.
Well,
but it is going to be the future.
See that I don't know. I feel like also though it's like it's creeping in. It's being subtle, but there's a lot of it when you start to sit and think. But I was kind of curious, like how is it helping the construction side of homes?
Well, I've not really got into it yet because a lot of the programs, like I said, was $4.99 a month, and but what it will do is it will take. Let's say I get a set of plans. You email me a set of plans,
right?
And now I download them on the program. Mm-hmm. All right, and there is some parameters you got to look at. And you got to double check your distances and stuff like that. But you can say, I need a takeoff, okay? And now we'll give you all the measurements of all the lumber that you need on the job.
Yeah.
And they were actually programs that did that in about 2003 and 4, okay? But they were drawing sketch, so you draw your house out, and you pick a gable roof, a Mansfield roof, hip roof, and it would automatically draw these roof systems on. You put your interior walls in, and next thing you know, it spits out every piece of lumber that goes in this house, so there's less lumber waste.
Yeah.
Unlike, like I said, I talk about my son's house, because we actually wanted to create a house with the least amount of waste possible. So the house was 24 foot wide, so we used 24-foot floor joists.
Right.
Put a girder in the middle. Same thing upstairs, but we had walls, load-bearing walls on the inside to transfer it down to the middle post. And so people that draftsmen, okay, that use programs and stuff, when they draw a house, it draws it and it puts the rafters and everything in for you.
Right.
And the thing about it is these programs aren't cheap.
Right.
For these people to do this. And then there's programs that's even more expensive. Let's take Life Store Bank right there.
Sure.
There's a program there that will, you design that building, and when you get through it print out the price for the whole building.
Right.
On today's costs, because they update their costs weekly.
Well, that's it. There's some of these building information models that basically making efficiency. I mean, that's really what you're talking about here, right? Is it creates these 3D models on the computer, and and it kind of talks to each other, but it not only does it help in the planning stage, so you can see, okay, this is what it's going to look like or could look like, but it also kind of helps with like optimizing that workflow, right? It tells you exactly how many 2x4s to get.
Correct.
It tells you exactly what, how many screws, and so it helps to kind of streamline and make that efficient. And as the technology improves, right? How many we've talked about, again, you cut a board and you save the other half of it for later on. As the technology improves, and you're going to be able to say, it's going to say, okay, buy this 12-foot board, use 8 foot here, and 4 foot here.
Correct.
And it's going to start doing that for you. And I know it's what we do already, but it makes it easier for you.
Well, that's the reason we don't throw anything away.
Right.
Just like we talked about a couple of weeks ago about a homeowner.
Yeah.
Threw all my finished boards away that I had so I could start the next day to trim all the windows out because he thought it was waste. Never throw nothing away till the job's done.
Right.
When Green Building got so big, back 2006, 7, 8, you could also get your home LEED certified, okay? LEED certification means when you walked away from the house, all your waste went in the back of a pickup truck.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's what we was trying to achieve with Wheels House, was the waste factor and stuff like that. One thing it didn't help us was if we wanted a 16-foot 2x12 and they didn't have it on the yard and they sent an 18-foot, so you had that drop-off.
Yeah.
And if you didn't lose it, that went against you for your LEED certification on your house.
Right.
We calculated everything. We calculated the amount of ground that we were going to disturb on the lot and stuff. That's how in-depth LEED certification gets.
But AI will make that easier.
Yes.
Again, it's not that it does it. It's not that you can't do it. It's not doing anything you can't do, but it's doing it faster and easier.
Yes, it is.
And I think that's my whole thing with AI is like it doesn't replace anything that I'm doing, but it just makes my job easier if I use it as a tool. And so that to me is the cool part about it. But also like just the management, like some of the computer management programs. Again, you can schedules. Now you can create schedules easier for all your workers and take into account the weather forecast. So hey, it's going to be rainy. So again, as technology, the way it's moving is you're going to be able to one day be like, okay, I have these 2 jobs going on, and the AI is going to look at the data of where you're at, what materials are in supply, right? Supply chain. And then look at the weather, too, and be like, okay, Randy, you need to go here tomorrow, and then Wednesday go to there.
Yep.
And that's where the technology is headed, I think.
Well, it is, but the biggest thing about here in the high country, we don't have all those people that they have in big cities.
Right.
And that's what really hurts is subs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
well, it'll be interesting to see, again, how that how technology will continue to change.
Well, let me give you one of the things on the list is cooking, okay?
Yep.
How AI is going to help in that. Well, around 96, 97, Japan had machines that would do you a total gourmet dinner to what you ordered.
Yeah.
And cook it freshly right there while you're standing there watching. I remember watching them make a pizza.
Yeah.
They mixed the dough. The dough flopped down. It spread it out and put what kind of sauce you want, what kind of ingredients you want on, and cooked it. And within 20 minutes, you had your pizza,
Right.
and it was fresh made.
Yeah, totally. Well, and robots are going to kind of. I think we're going to see more and more in the residential construction side of things too. For instance, drones that you can fly over, a robot, so to speak, that you can survey the land, and so you can look at it, and then it'll all the measurements that you take, right? Like you were talking about, how much ground do I disturb? You can now fly over this with robots, and then use AI technology, and it'll say, okay, you're going to have to move X amount of dirt, right? or it'll help plan out. Okay, there's a spring here, and there's septic tank here, and so you can only put that addition here.
Correct. Well, I will tell you this: your insurance company is flying drones over your house, and I know that for a fact because I was told a drone flew over my house, and I didn't have enough egress into my basement, and I had a 10-foot area. So I did cancel my insurance with that company, and the new company I went to, I said, will you fly a drone over my house? And they said, what do you mean? I said, I'll tell you the same thing I told the other company. If I catch a drone over my house, I'll shoot your damn drone.
Right.
Because until I give you permission, you have no business on my property.
Sure.
So keep an eye out for...
But that's the gray area, right?
Yeah.
Is the airspace, who's it belong to? And that's a whole nother show for other people. But again, in the construction side of things, we're starting to see robots that robotic bricklayers. I don't know if you've seen some of these.
England was doing that around 2005.
Isn't that cool?
Yep.
Just lays it out.
All you got to do is somebody put mortar in it, and it's doing it. It's not that fast, but the thing about it is it could work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Exactly. There's machines, though, that can cut lumber for you. That's been around in the sawmill side of things for a long
for the 90s.
Yeah, for longer. But now we're starting to see that in the more of the shop, so to speak, settings where it'll crank out and cut.
We did
whatever.
We did a job for a lady in Fosco, and her brother lived in Vermont, and he run a lumber company, and it was a computerized lumber company, and I got to talk to him about it. And you used to talk about the lasers and stuff on the log. He said that the logs would come in, the computer would read the small butt end of the log, determine what kind of lumber they could get out of it, and it'd go through all at one pass because there's a gang blade mill.
Yep.
All right. So then the slabs fall off. They go out into a chipper, go into a hopper to feed the boiler for the generator because they didn't use electricity on the sawmill. Everything was electric, but it was using a boiler.
Boiling the boiler.
So there was no waste.
That's so cool.
And that was in the 90s.
Yep. Well, and again, the robotic side of things, we've seen in sort of the factories, so to speak, the factory setting for a while. But another thing too that we're going to start to see more of are sort of these autonomous vehicles. Where who knows? I don't think we're that far off until you're going to call up the building supply and they're going to send a truck that's not powered by a person that drives it to you. That's coming at some point in our future. But I think what we're going to start to see first and be more realistic in what we see is sort of the small, like think of the wheelbarrow type thing, right?
Yep.
You got a guy who's hauling a wheelbarrow full of concrete or whatever to the other side of the house. Well, if that's a consistent thing, you can program it in. It's not far-fetched to have a little, vehicle, so to speak, that's a wheelbarrow that's going to bring it back. And so when you got some of these monotonous, time-consuming things, hauling bricks, we're not far from a machine, a robot that can move bricks to the top of the top of the hill or top of the, even the house, right? Like putting shingles up on top of the roof.
Yep.
And I think some of that is where we're going to start to see some of that automation. We're going to start to see more and more of, I do believe.
Well, they believe that AI is going to eliminate 26% of the jobs in the next 15 years.
Well, yeah.
And so what does that mean for everybody out there? That's a pretty drastic 25%.
I hear you. And I understand that, and I don't know how the number rolls are going to play out, but I have read things where, in the next, year to 2 years, that we're going to see 85 million jobs, 100 million jobs created because of AI.
Correct.
Now I don't know how those percentages. I don't know how that takes out because you're talking about losing some. I don't know if that replaces enough of those. I don't know how those numbers place out, but I do know that. It's going to create a lot of jobs. And so...
Well, I did go to Hardee's this morning.
Yeah.
And their AI order taker's doing better than it did the first time I heard it.
It better, because I kind of stopped going because of that.
But it did. I went there. It's just odd that I went there because of the AI this morning. Here I get a printout from you, and we're going to do a show on AI.
That's where it's talking to us. It's talking to us. But anyway, let's take another break. We're going to come right back right after this. Thanks for listening. Are you looking for a sawmill dealership that can provide you with the quality equipment you need to get the job done? Look no further than Blue Ridge Sawmills. We offer the full line of Hudson sawmills and sawmilling equipment, from portable sawmills to skidding winches. At Blue Ridge Sawmills, we understand that every project is different, which is why we offer a wide range of sawmilling services. We can help you from everything from finding the right mill for your farm, hobby, or even your business. We also offer a variety of sawmilling supplies such as blades and debarkers, so you can get everything you need in one place. If you're looking for a sawmill dealership that can provide you with the quality equipment and the service you need, then come to Blue Ridge Sawmills. We're here to help you get the job done. Call or visit our Cana, Virginia store at 276-755-3833 or our Asheboro, North Carolina location at 336-964-8304. That's right, all about home construction. Thanks for listening to us. And again, for all the smart speakers out there, not only should you ask it to play All About Home Construction podcast, you should also say thanks.
But when you ask Alexa, you have to say Terry and Randy.
Yeah, All About Home Construction podcast, and with our names, and it'll pop up.
Yes, it will, believe it or not.
Yep. It's good stuff. All right. Well, talking a little bit about artificial intelligence this morning, and again, you know, it's I understand the concern that a lot of people have, and I'm kind of with you, right? Like I'm not sitting here and saying like it is the greatest thing ever, but I am sitting here saying that it's not going anywhere, and it's how we embrace it is going to be the trick to all of this, and you know, again, I think we've seen it trickle in more than we realize too. And going back to the whole premise, the whole reason I thought about this week was the augmented reality and virtual reality stuff, right? Again, especially in the design things where you can use this VR, virtual reality stuff and technology, and it'll assist you by, like, basically, again, it visualizes your construction projects before they are built. You're going to be able to aid yourself, like when it comes to presenting and designing and then sharing of that information, right? Yep. It's not going away. And again, you know, the easiest thing, the example we see is click on your phone and go purchase something or look to purchase something, and you can. A lot of places now are starting to see the whole view it in your space, you know, and or whatever, and it's kind of neat, but it's going to help out, and you know we can now go from, hey Randy, I want this magazine, I want this picture. Yep. Now we can start to break it down and see what's actually in that picture, so to speak. When it comes to ordering and the manufacturing side and the building side of things.
Well, you know, General Motors in 1980 put a computer in a car. Mm-hmm. All right. They did not learn how to read it till 1985. And they could tell you how many times you stopped, mm-hmm. how many times you started, how fast, what was your maximum speed.
Right.
So the whole history of the car. Okay. And you remember a few years ago when that was going through Congress about them monitoring
right.
your cars because people were bringing new cars in blowed up.
Yep.
Okay. So they put those machines in there. Here a while back, I was listening to the news, and there's 4 car companies out there now that when you sign the contract to buy that car, they are listening to you in your car, and they know what you like to buy. Mm-hmm. So they're tracking what you want to buy. Yep. To go in the market of this AI stuff. Yeah. Just like Alexa listens to everything, just like Google listens to everything.
That's it. And you know, if you are a like take for instance the household, right? Like I've got 4 teenage kids at the house, And it's amazing. Like even on Facebook is some of the ads that pop up. It pulls. It's like I can tell which kid has been searching for what things because it pulls different, advertisements based on. For instance, like my daughter the other day was talking about. So she wanted something for her bedroom, and she, basically like she wants to redo her bedroom sheets and add shelves and stuff like that, right? Just redecorate the kid's bedroom, and it was like the next couple of days. I'm starting to see that on my Facebook advertisements for it. Purchase this and the bookcases and stuff, and it's just interesting. And I know like part of that is pulling from the algorithms where she's searching for it herself because she was interested in it. But it's how many times have you've said like I think my phone's listening to me, right?
Yep.
Like, and it's interesting. We were talking about generators one day last year. A friend of mine, it was just one of those like, hey, we should, generators, and he's looking at getting one maybe, and and we were just talking about them, and then the next day I'm getting ads for generators.
Well, if I was telling Terry that I use Alexa to set my alarm clock, and I said, "Thank you, Alexa," and Alexa came back and said, "Thank you. We never hear that before." So I said, so you are listening to my conversations, and I've never heard it since.
That's funny.
But if you notice, I don't know about any of the rest of them, but the Alexa, when you ask for something, it always has a blue ring.
Yeah.
And then when you're through talking to it, then there's a yellow ring.
It changes, right?
And it rotates around and round, and then when it gets tired of seeing if you're going to do anything else, it makes a noise and shuts the yellow light off.
Right.
And so it's there. Amazon did announce that they were losing money because of Alexa every year, and it's because of Google and Apple products and stuff.
Right.
But they are listening to you, and if you get on Facebook and these products that come up that you're looking online, they're coming from your stuff, your computer. They're coming from everything, everything around you.
Yeah. Well, and again, it's scary, but we can use it as a tool if we want to. So let's take our last break. We'll come right back right after these messages. Obviously, by listening to this podcast, you see the value of All About Home Construction. Well, by joining our listener supporter community, you're not just tuning in, you're standing with us as we are able to support and fuel our passions of the construction industry. As a listener supporter, you'll enjoy exclusive perks, including hearing your name, or maybe even your business name, on our show. So please go to our Spotify website. The link will be in the show notes, and join. You can join for as little as $1 one-time fee, $1 a month, $5 a month, whatever you think you can afford. Every single penny helps to keep this show going as we can continue to grow and do lots more things. Thanks a lot. And again, more importantly, thank you for listening to this. That's right. All About Home Construction here on WATA. And again, thanks to all of our listeners out there. Talking about some AI, some artificial intelligence this morning. And Randy, we have a caller on the air. And good morning, caller. Who are we speaking with?
Good morning, Harry.
Hey,
the Twilight Zone.
Where you been?
I've been here. Terrible. I just learned a whole lot more by listening than talking.
That's fair. So,
yeah, just to let you know that they are out there.
Right? We appreciate
I
you.
did want to say thanks for another good show. I haven't talked to you in a pretty good while, and I have been here. Like I said, I just learned more by listening than talking.
We appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Yes, we do.
And, so, yeah, well, thank you very much, and I'm sure your Alexa will send you some Bitcoins when we thank you later on somehow. However that works, I don't know.
If I ever get one, right.
But, yeah.
I got there are enough spies around as it is.
Oh, they call that nosy people.
The news saying that the IRS or the Treasury Department was monitoring certain political things, and that's gotten way out of hand.
Mm-hmm. Well, they admitted this last week that they had banks spying on us.
Yeah,
and
exactly. Well, and they're talking about going to a digital dollar, and that will be the biggest revival of bartering that ever was.
I'm with you on that. And again, and don't get me wrong, Bill, because I love technology, like I said, but at the same time, I like history too. You can throw me in the 19th century, and I'll survive through there. So it may end up being the best of both worlds. I don't know.
Well, I don't like it because people end up spending more than they think with the digital.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And like Dave Ramsey says, if you got to shell out the cold green, then you think about it. But I know somebody just the other day said that they didn't have any idea what they were paying for what they were getting. They just slide the card and go on.
Exactly. Yeah.
Must be nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're getting ready to try and build a building. I'll call Randy a little later on to try to get some ideas. But I think a root cellar is in my future.
There you go. Well, there's a new app too. If you want to scan your app, you can see it. It'll tell you how much dirt you need and what you need.
Digitized Walker's Pocket Manual.
Yeah, I'm just saying. It's there.
No, I never did buy Walker's digital manual, but I have one at home.
I've got a little one too, just for giggles. But it's got a lot of information about how to figure out how much gravel you need to do a driveway and all kinds of stuff.
Well, just remember,
stuff that most people never even think about. They just want it done.
Gravel's in cubic yards, not cubic feet.
Yep. And it even says in there how much cubic yard of gravel weighs.
2.44 tons.
On the grade.
Yep.
You get Crusher Run, you get a little extra in there.
Yep.
Well, that's the thing, and I guess that's what I'm trying to say is it doesn't replace anything. It's just making things easier.
Oh, yeah. Good Lord. When I was in grade school, calculators are verboten. And now you have to have one. Otherwise, it's gone 180 degrees.
Right.
If you don't have one, they make you get one because you just can't keep up.
Well, that's when deductive reasoning went out the window.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. We have a major shortage of that.
I remember in high school, the biology teacher talking about the sci-fi today was the future tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Now the future's coming.
Sure.
Yeah. Terry's talking about history. I remember the Terminator series.
Yep.
And war games.
Yep.
And stuff that a lot of the younger folks don't have any idea about. It's the Wild West is getting a revival.
Well, Germany was the first country in the world that actually captured a light beam for hundreds milliseconds in a test tube.
Sure.
Because we always got taught in school that light particles are little pockets of light. Mm-hmm. And they actually was able to catch it and photograph it. And the next year, they actually teleported a styrofoam cup from one room to the next room.
That's cool.
Star Trek Revisited.
Well,
yeah.
But you think about it, Star Trek, right? You go back and the flip, bloop, and then the Captain Kirk's telling them, hey, beam me up, Scotty, right? And they were holding a handheld device. How different is that from my cell phone right here? Or the tricorders. They're walking around and they're getting all this data. How different is that than my cell phone?
I got one better than that. One of the vets come in the other day, last night, with Bluetooth, not headphones, but earphones.
Hearing aids, yes.
And he's going, I can just tell it to call somebody, and it calls it automatically from my phone by me talking to my earphones.
Exactly.
Wow.
Well, but look at all the other stuff that we carry around, that we wear, right? I mean, I've got a watch. I got a smartwatch. You know, it tells me my time, but it also tells me how many steps I do. I can check my heart rate on it. I can check my, it's technology that we're seeing that's not going away. And and again, I think if we embrace it and use it correctly, I think we can use it, and I think it'll help the construction field too. I mean,
$64,000 question is, how many other people is it telling? It's like all of these electronic medical records.
Yes.
I think doctor-client privilege is out the window altogether.
Yeah.
I had an experience where I had to have some stitches down off the mountain, and it was with a different medical provider than who I usually deal with, and some stuff came up on my exit report that's like, who told you that? That had nothing to do with stitches.
Yeah.
Well,
so
to give you an idea, General Motors allowed communication with other companies in 2011. Then in 2012, the Supreme Court, warrantless tracking is evidence, and so they backed them off because they got sued for that. But, we was talking about the other car companies.
Yeah.
And I believe it or not, one of the biggest ones, Kia.
Really?
Yeah, and then Subaru's the next one down. I can't remember the other two, but they said they can even listen to you and tell you what you're going to eat. So you get advertisement on your computers.
Well, that's like, 2026, that there's going to be a kill switch for your car. That if you're not behaving the way they want you to behave, they'll push a button and you'll be stuck, sitting dead on the side of the road, hopefully.
That's about with these diesels with this depth cleaner. If the light goes off and you don't stop and let it burn for 30 minutes, and you go on, your truck will quit, and then it's got to go back to the dealership to be factory reinstalled.
Right.
Wow.
And I don't understand it. I remember when that came out, because I was getting ready to trade my truck in, and they said that was a $6,000 add-on to a diesel truck.
Wow. That
they couldn't guarantee it would last 2 years, that you was not warranted over 36,000 miles.
Well, Bill,
it's something that if you had the choice, you would never even think about.
Nope.
That's it. Well, Bill, we're going to have to cut you off because it's time for the news. So thank you so much for listening to us.
Yes, sir.
Thanks again, guys. Y'all have a great rest of the weekend.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Randy, it's been fun. Thanks a lot. And, again, thanks for listening to us.
Yep.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to All About Home Construction. We air every week on Saturday mornings on WATA in Boone. Please like this podcast, comment, share it. Hey, let everybody know where you found it. Thanks for listening.